In this video, we're going to look at how to beautify our CSS file. I'm going to show you some simple tricks to make sure that your CSS file is formatted properly so that it's more readable and also more effective. So let's get started. So this is our external CSS file, and that's a CSS file that is giving it this appearance. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we format this properly. So I'm going to select everything, copy it, go to a new tab on the browser and just type beautify CSS. And there are several tools on the internet which will help you format your CSS file. So you can just paste your CSS code here and then click on beautify CSS and it will beautify it for you. And then you can copy it in the clipboard and then you can select everything, delete everything and paste it here. So this will give you a formatted version of your CSS code. So now that we have that done, let's look at other ways of making our CSS code more effective. So if you look here, the H3 has a margin left of 20 pixels. And if you remember, our H3 is applied here. And we applied the margin left of 20 pixels when this was left aligned. So we no longer need this. So let's remove that. And when you remove it, you can see that this code is identical to this code. So instead of having two separate definitions, let's combine these two by specifying H3 here, and you can remove this. See, because both these have the same style definition, we can just combine it with a comma. Okay, that's a simple way of doing it. So the next thing we're going to do is make sure that our definitions are ordered in such a way that it makes sense to somebody who reads the file. So what I'm going to do is make sure that our definitions are ordered in the same way that the elements on our page are ordered. So I'm going to make sure that the first thing that we define is the body, and you can see that the background color is defined here, and that's fine. H1 is on the top, it's here. Now let's bring up all the things related to the image right here. And then let's have the list definitions here. We're going to have the UL definitions at the top and then the LIB. And let's move the class definitions all the way to the bottom of the definition list, and we'll move up the element definitions. So let's move these up. And also the HR needs to be right after the image because that's where the first HR happens. So we now have a logical structure to the way these definitions are ordered. And at the very end, we have the class definitions and then we have the ID definitions. So there is a certain logical structure to this. Now, the other thing we need to do is make sure that our definitions are not duplicated. So for example, here you see that there are two table definitions, which is unnecessary. So let's combine those. And good. So now our CSS file is optimized. Let's save this and refresh it. So now you see that, it's all pretty good. Except that the one thing that changed was that we removed the margin left at 20 pixels. So now it's properly centered and we don't have much of a change in the way our website looks. It's all the same except that the code has been better structured. So these are some tips to make sure that your CSS code is more readable, because when you give your CSS code to somebody else, they need to be able to read it and change things effectively. We can also get rid of the extra spaces like this. And if you want to be completely satisfied, you can also copy this one more time and beautify it and then paste it again. That way it'll remove the extra spaces and everything and it should be better formatted. Now what I'm showing you here are just basic tips. There are more advanced ways to format CSS code, but that is beyond the scope of this program. So I won't be getting into those, but I just want to quickly show you. So if you look here, there's a thing called HTML style guide where it's giving you some tips on how to properly style and format your HTML and CSS files. So your HTML file always needs to have a document type declared at the very top, which we haven't done yet. Let's do that. It's not that it's not going to work if you don't do this. But doing this is better practice, basically. It's called the best practice. So these are things to keep in mind when you want to write proper code. And it's always good to have all of your tag names in lowercase instead of in uppercase. And you should also close all of your HTML elements. So all of the attribute names need to be in small case, as it says here. And attribute values should have double quotes around them. And when you're creating images, you need to have src and the alt. It's good to have the alt attribute, because if the image cannot be displayed for some reason, then the text in the alt will help identify what kind of an image was supposed to be there. And it's always good to have spaces in equal signs. So for example, if you see something like this, it's kind of bad. Avoid long code lines and never skip the title. So there are a bunch of other things here. You should go through these at your own convenience so that you get familiar with what kind of best practices exist for your HTML and CSS files. Again, the way to reach this document is just look for coding conventions HTML, and you'll get this link in the first result, and you click on this and you can get to see the rules that we just had a look at. There are a lot more than what I just went through. You can go ahead and have a look at these things at your own convenience. So that's it for this video. Hope this was helpful. Make sure to like and share this video, and also subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon for notifications. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.